Hi there. So I'm happy that you have scheduled a soul regression session, and I just want to give you a little advice before coming to your session. So you're going to create a list of about 20 questions that you want to ask your higher self, your spiritual team, where we can get a lot more insight. Now, of those 20 questions, because I'm very good at asking questions, what we'll do is we'll sit down and we'll talk about your questions so that I have a really good understanding of what you're looking for in the question. So when we get into the session, then I'm able to dig down into the question and get a lot more information than just really surface answers, because there's a lot more going on a lot of times than just what the answer to the top question is. So I just want to make sure that I have a good understanding. So we'll sit down and we'll talk about your questions and we'll go over what you're looking for. Now, just to make you aware, your spiritual team is working with you already. The minute you picked up that phone and made the phone call or sent the email, your spiritual team has been prompting you to make the connection to have this regression. And what happens in the regression session is we will sit down and we'll talk for an hour, hour and a half or so, find out a little bit about you, your history, major turning events in your life, prominent people, things, events that have happened, and then we'll go over your questions so we get a really good understanding. And then what we'll do is we'll take a break, and then we come in and we go into the deepening gateway. Now, I always like to put protection around us in our session, so I do that. I also play a singing bowl because the vibration from the singing bowl helps us get into that trance state a little bit easier and better. And because we are like 78–80% water, the vibration from the singing bowl helps us attune our bodies and prepare the body for the regression session as well. And then we'll go into the deepening gateway. And through the deepening gateway, I'm going to take you to a beautiful place. And this is just a beautiful place that you create in your mind. So it doesn't have to be anywhere particular, but let's just say you went on vacation somewhere and you loved this vacation spot. So you could just imagine yourself being at that vacation spot. And once we go into that deepening gateway and we go to your beautiful place, then I'm going to start activating your five senses. So I'm going to ask you questions like, well, what does it feel like? And you're just going to remember or think back or just visualize, what would it feel like to be in this place? What does it feel like to be there? What do you see? I'm going to have you create the whole environment around you. What do you hear? Maybe what do you smell? What do you sense? We're really going to activate those five senses and get you really involved into whatever that beautiful place is for you. And then once we've done that, then we're going to just kind of drift and float back in time. And now I never guide the session anywhere particular. I always allow the higher self to guide the session to the most appropriate time and place. So wherever that is where we're going to end up. So I always tell people, if you come in with expectations, then it's not going to work for you. So have no expectations. Just really relax into the visualization and just be present and just enjoy and just, have no expectations. Now, some people come down and they're in darkness, and I always tell people, if you come down in darkness, you are somewhere. You could just be here, but you could be out in the cosmos. You could be in a cave somewhere. You could be at the bottom of the ocean. There are many things that darkness represents. And I always tell people not to judge the darkness, because when I first started doing this, people who would have the session when they would go into darkness, their thoughts would all of a sudden take over, and they would think to themselves, oh, this is not working. So what happens when you do that is just like reaching into the session and grabbing yourself by the collar of the shirt and yanking yourself out of the session. So we want to make sure that we keep our left brain, our analytical mind, out of the conversation or out of the situation, because that is what's going to hinder you from going in. Now, you have total and complete control over the session. I'm only the guide to guide you through, but you're the one that is going to allow yourself to go into the deepening gateway and see what there is to see and explore what there is to explore. So depending on where we go, we're going to explore that. Now, a lot of people come in and they do go to past lives, but some people don't. And whatever happens in your session is what is meant to happen. And so have no expectations. There are some people who have trauma in this life that needs to be resolved. And so if the higher self feels like that is the most appropriate place for you to go in your session, then that's where we're going to go. So just have no expectations and let's explore. Now, if you do go to an event in your current life, then what we'll do is we'll go and explore that event. And then what we'll do is we'll move further back in time and go through the womb into a past life that way. If you go into a past life, then what we do in that case is we work our way through that life in different events to the last day of your life, and then through the death scene, and then we follow the soul to see where the soul goes. Now, depending on the length of that session or that lifetime, we may visit another lifetime. But if it's quite a lengthy session, then we'll only visit one lifetime. And then what we do is we'll ask to speak to the higher self. And when we speak to the higher self, then we're able to go in and ask your questions that you bring in and get the answers. And then like I said before, I like to dig down into the answers so we get a clear understanding of what you're looking for. And then once we have completed that questioning, then we'll go ahead and count you out. So as we're counting out, then you're just going to relax into the count out process. And then once you come out of it, you will remain in the lying down position for probably a good 10 minutes while we just discuss things that you remember from your session. Most people are very aware because the veil is so thin. So almost everybody that I have sessions for anymore is very much aware of what's going on. There are very few that get to that somnambulistic state anymore. And I know when Dolores Cannon used to do her clients, most of her clients would go to that somnambulistic state, but that was back in the time when the veil was much thicker. And in order for people to experience what they needed to experience in their previous past lives, they had to go to that somnambulistic state, but that's not the case anymore. So most of the clients are very much awake and very much aware of what's going on, and they can pull themselves out of the session at any time. Like I said, you are the one that's in control. I can't make you do anything. You're in control whether you allow yourself to go into the deepening gateway or not. Totally up to you. So just come in with no expectations and just relax into the situation. I look forward to your session soon, and I love you and thank you.